and welcome to Fast Forward Meet the People. In the past few weeks, we've been meeting the leadership team of Star Linen. We've met Hannah, we've met Helen, we've met Nigel, and today I'm really excited to introduce to you Star Linen's very own self-confessed biker and electric car buff, Sherrie Woolf. Welcome, Sherrie.
Hi, Louisa. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. I've heard so much about you. I've been really excited to meet you. So Stephen tells me all about you and your career so far. So you've spanned an accounting career over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And you've been working with Stephen and the team at Star Linen since 2017.
It's surprised how quick that's gone.
I know. And Stephen describes you as somebody that's made a massive contribution to Star Linen and the finance operations there, but also to the whole morale of the team. He says your personality is positively infectious. So
Oh, that's very kind. I guess I am. I'm not really the traditional, version of an accountant where, you see, if you think of somebody who sits in their own office and is, just crunching numbers. I see the role of the accountant and the finance director as really integral in the whole business. And I really enjoyed working in Star Linen because with it being a small business, you do get to have a very hands-on feel of the whole business rather than a very narrow, just looking at numbers job.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you're absolutely right about what you say. You imagine people that are good with numbers don't tend to be quite as lively as perhaps you've been. Right. So that's very interesting indeed. So tell me about your love for biking and electric cars. Why not your petrol head anymore?
Yeah, so I've always liked fast cars. And while I was living in London, I decided I wanted to ride motorbikes. So I really loved fast motorbikes too. So I've always considered myself a petrol head, which is, it's quite a common term for people who are into performance vehicles. Now, the revolution of electric cars, it confused me for a moment because I'm not supposed to like them. But when I test drove one, I had to have one.
Really?
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. The instant acceleration, which is, it's very conflicting for a petrol head then to think, oh, I actually don't have an engine in this. It doesn't have any petrol, it's electric. So I've had to retitle myself as a performance head, not a petrol head.
Well, I like saying that's the first I've heard of that, but yeah, that makes sense. So it's obviously about the speed and the adrenaline more than the mechanics. Yeah,
exactly.
So did you buy one then, an electric car?
I did.
You did. Wow. How long have you had it now?
I bought my electric car in September, just gone.
Awesome. So back to business then. Obviously, your professionalism is accounting, and as I mentioned earlier, Stephen and Hannah have mentioned what huge value you brought to them as a company. I'm really interested to hear what your first impressions were of working with Star Linen, especially as they are quite a female-orientated or dominated leadership team.
Yeah, it's been really positive. So I had set up my accounting business, and there's an agency that I often do some work through. So they introduced me to Stephen when they needed an interim finance director. So I went and met the team, got on really well instantly. Stephen's a really warm character. So it's hard I don't know how anybody could dislike him. So I was really keen to work with him. And then I met, some of the other ladies who were there managing as well. So we had Lindsay and Helen. Hannah hadn't come back to Star Linen when I was there initially. So I was pretty much filling in, waiting for Hannah to come back. So it was, I'm very much used to being the only woman in the boardroom.
Right.
So it was really refreshing when I'm asking about who manages this and who manages that, and 5 times out of 6 times I would be going to another woman. You know, Stephen, when I was there, Stephen was the only male manager.
Was he? How interesting. So how do you think that changed the dynamics of the meeting in your experience?
I just find it's, you know, it's very conversational and it's very collaborative. You know, I think this, I think women are naturally more open to discussion and listening to each other's points. It doesn't mean we always agree, you know, but I think we can disagree over a conversation rather than, you know, trying to prove a point. And, you know, there's generally everybody at the table has a point, and it's agreeing then, you know, if there's differing points, what are the best ones for the business? And I found it was really easy to be objective with the team.
Fantastic. And so what do you think are the main sort of differences, if there are many, of, you know, Star Linen's general leadership through Stephen Broadhurst in maybe comparison to some other companies you might have worked for?
What I find, a good managers have a happy team. And when you have a happy team, they're always happy to go the extra mile for you. And what I found was the way that the other ladies there managed their teams, there was always a, you know, a willingness and enthusiasm from the whole team. And the management team also had that enthusiasm towards Stephen. And, you know, you can feel how it's quite a family environment at Star Linen. It is a small team, and, you know, everybody rolls their sleeves up and gets on with stuff. You know, if a massive delivery comes in, you know, people from the sales office go downstairs, and this is managers included, right? You know, it's just roll your sleeves up. Let's help get this put away. Let's help get this organised. The sooner we know what we've got, the sooner we can get it out to the clients. You know, it's just a real collaborative team spirit there, and it's a pleasure to work in.
That's great. There's nothing better than bringing everybody onto the same level by getting the goods out of vans then. Yeah, brilliant. So how would you describe Stephen? You obviously know him quite well, you all work quite closely. How would you describe what quirky sides have you got to him that perhaps the businesses don't see or the customers don't see?
Do you know, the first thing I got from him was warmth. He's got a really warm character. But then when you get to know him, you can see, you know, how smart he is. He knows this industry. You know, he is an absolute industry expert, and it doesn't take long in speaking to him to know that, which is really, you know, it's really comforting, because I come in as an interim. I don't know their business. I know business, but I didn't know their business. So the facts I could get from Stephen very easily, you know, I was there building up budgets and forecasts, you know, for 2 or 3 years at a time. And when having no prior knowledge of the company, that can be very difficult. But it was made simple by the expertise on site. I think from a professional aspect, you know, he's very, very easy to work with. On a more personal note, he's also into his performance. He likes his toys too. So we always have a bit of a giggle. And we also have a friend in common, and who he had worked with in a previous life. And she's somebody who I know from biking in London. And, you know, he was always impressed. It's an Italian lady, and you know, she rides Italian bikes. So, you know, he's always been really impressed with the whole authenticity of that. And we often end up talking about cars and bikes and performance, as well as business. But, you know, I consider him a friend now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Sherrie, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for your insights and the impressions of Star Linen. You've been a delight to interview.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely to speak to you.